I will give you everything in my pockets if you have not heard one of these gay marriage arguments. There are only 10 of them. First, let me promise you that this is not a hate video. Most gay people I know are great, fantastic people. And so, please, don't call each other names. It just hurts people's feelings. Secondly, I will not be using any religious arguments. I don't know why people keep bringing up,
well, God didn't make Adam and Steve.
This argument about changing marriage. It can be resolved just using pure, brilliant logic. So let's answer the simple question. Why do gay people want to get married? First, surprisingly, the most common argument that you would probably hear, and I hear it all the time, is this. I'm for gay marriage because I know gay people, and they're really nice. Now, this is strange because I have gay friends too. Why? Because some of them are really great people. But just because we're friends with a nice person doesn't mean we have to agree with everything that they do or that I do. And we can still be super, super chill about it. But the bottom line is this. These political people who are forcing us to change marriage are making everybody out to be monsters.
You're a homophobe.
If you don't agree 100% with your friends. The second argument for gay marriage is gay people should get married because they honestly are really attracted to each other. And we can't change that. Matter of fact, we should just embrace it. Yes, gay people have legitimate attractions for each other. But just because something feels good does not mean that everyone else should be forced to endorse that feeling. You know what I mean? But political people are forcing us to change marriage because of a sexual desire. Yes, it's a very strong sexual desire, but that doesn't mean that you have to force the entire society to change a basic definition and a basic fundamental institution in society. Number 3, gay marriage is about love. You may have heard this. Well, who am I to say that two loving, consenting adults shouldn't get married? Well, it's because marriage doesn't have anything to do with love. Love helps, but marriage isn't based on love. Why? Well, because love is emotional and subjective, and it can mean virtually anything that you'd like. Love is not a legally binding reason to completely change a basic institution. So here's the bottom line. Political people are twisting a subjective emotion, love, and saying, well, this is the reason why we should force everyone to change marriage. It's for love. You've probably also heard the fourth argument for gay marriage, and it is this. Gay marriage is about commitment. Absolutely. For any marriage to work, both people need to be selfless and committed. It's very wonderful that people can get along together for long periods of time, but that's not all. Because after all, if commitment was the reason why people got married, then you and your mom should get married. Because after all, you lived together for 18 years. She selflessly cared for you, and you probably still get along just fine with your mom, right? Well, that doesn't mean you have to get married to her. Commitment is not the only reason to get married. But political people are forcing us to change marriage because two people have basically been committed roommates for a long time. That's ridiculous to change marriage for that. The fifth argument that you've probably heard for gay marriage is, well, gay marriage is the equivalent of the, interracial marriage bans, in the 1950s and 60s. Racism is awful. Everybody will agree with that. But this is troubling because political people are equating a sexual preference with being black. Some people, in case you haven't noticed, are born black. It should be celebrated and acknowledged, absolutely. Now, despite the millions of dollars studying this, scientists still cannot prove that babies are born gay. Can you picture a doctor saying, "Congratulations, he's gay"? What? It is a choice. Now, it's a very strong choice. There's no denial there. But to compare a strong sexual drive with the color of your skin? On the flip side, Have you ever heard, Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something. I'm black. Political people are scaring everyone into thinking that if you disagree with changing marriage, you're a racist. The sixth argument that you would hear for gay marriage is gay people just want the same legal rights. Now, I happen to live in the great city of Seattle. Recently, the politicians passed a law called the Everything But Marriage Law. It basically says that any gay couple in a domestic partnership together, they can have the same rights as a married couple. And yet still, does the political gay marriage agenda rage on? It does. For some reason, the political people are still trying to scare everyone into thinking that you're denying legal rights to domestic partners. And it's just not the case. But they still want this label of marriage. Just leave it be. The seventh argument that you would hear for gay marriage is, well, my gay parents, they should be married because they're just as good as your mom and dad. Now, this is true, but very deceptive because everybody has seen gay parents turn out some fantastic, down-to-earth children, even without this label of marriage. So, therefore, they should be awarded this label of marriage. See how that's kind of odd? It's tough, though, because when children are brought up, people get very emotional. But we know that we need to be very, very careful changing entire institutions based off of emotions. Think about this. Let's say two adults have custody of a child. Let's say that these two adults are a brother and a sister. Does that mean that they should be granted marriage status? No, ugh. A child is not a little proverbial genie that magically grants someone the stamp of marriage. The bottom line is this: political people are scaring everyone into thinking that if you don't change the definition of marriage, well, you basically hate children and you don't want them to have parents. And that's a horrible, dirty scare tactic. The eighth argument that you would hear for gay marriage is, it's just a label. Marriage, just give it to them. Why do you have to make a whole video about it? Here's why this label of marriage is so incredibly important to this political agenda. We all know what marriage is. It's true. When you were a kid, even before you knew what sex was, you knew what marriage was, hopefully. Marriage is that basic. It is that fundamental. The bottom line is this: political people are hijacking this label of marriage as a way to force everyone to endorse a lifestyle. Let me give you a rather strange analogy, but bear with me, it makes perfect sense. Now, bondage. Yes, we're going to talk about bondage now. Now, bondage is a little thing that happens between two consenting adults, right? And some people are really turned on by it. I have no idea, but they are. Let's say that a pro-bondage group sues the Seattle Police Department because the SPD has defined a whip as a weapon. The SPD from now on has to call a whip a love tool because, well, that's how the bondage community uses it. So it's fair, right? Now, eventually, the whole nation adopts this redefined love tool thanks to the politicians who push this agenda. Now, guess what happens every time you mention this word whip? You are forced to immediately consider this new definition, right? It's rather brilliant, but also kind of slimy. See, if you redefine a basic word that everybody knows, you'll get people's attention, and they'll automatically have to consider your lifestyle, your agenda, and how you redefine it. The bottom line is this: these political people are forcing everyone to change a basic institution so that it includes a personal sexual desire. And in that way, they're forcing everyone else to embrace that sexual habit. The ninth argument for gay marriage is just let them have marriage. It's not like it hasn't been broken. Believe me, just look at the divorce rates. Now, this is kind of sad because the divorce rates are pretty incredible. But wait, just a moment. This is a very strange argument. Think about it. If marriage is really all that bad, why do they want it so badly? This is a very telling argument because it shows us that these political people will do anything to get this label of marriage, even if it means undermining it. The 10th and last argument that you would hear for gay marriage is this, and it's kind of an odd one. Fine, let's just agree to disagree. This is always the last response that you will hear. And yes, people actually use this to justify their feelings for gay marriage. And they're coming across as really open-minded. Truce, I'm waving my little white flag. But think about what they're saying. They're really saying, you're right, but I don't want to make a decision. Despite all the logic in the world, they will not disagree with gay marriage. So the bottom line is this: these politically minded people pushing this agenda will fake like they're being peaceful by agreeing to disagree, but they don't really want to admit that you're actually right about how illogical gay marriage arguments are. Just leave marriage alone, for Pete's sake. So what do? Stand your ground, not in a disrespectful way, and don't go out of your way to offend people. You can still be loving and respectful without having to embrace 100% someone else's lifestyle choices, especially when those lifestyle choices are fueling a political agenda whose main goal is to undermine and undo an entire institution in the United States of America.